All right, I know y'all got plenty of questions, so I'm gonna let y'all get to it. Here's what I'll say: is our kids fought their butts off. They won another overtime game. There's something special about this group. Maybe we're not the greatest football team in the world, but we're the greatest total team because these dudes believe in one another. They take care of one another, and they fight all the way to the end. And that makes me want to come to work every day because those dudes are that. I want to thank our fans. I know this was a hard one to come to because of what all it was entailed with the weather, but man, the energy was great, and just very excited about Eagle Nation, and just want to make sure I thank them. The last thing I'll say is we're humble and hungry, and we're going to start over at 4:30 tomorrow, 0-0, and try to find a way to go 1-0.
Coach Shai said and Lane both said that y'all are built for this. Can you kind of expand on that and explain what that means? Is it stuff in the off season? Is it a compilation of stuff? Is it the juice that you're talking about, or what does "we're built for this" mean?
Okay, well let's go back and look at it. Let's look when we moved to the FBS, 2014, 2015. Last year's class was the last guys that played in the GoDaddy Bowl in 2015. Okay, so losing some of that mattered. We went through what we went through, and I was a part of all of it in 2016, 2017, and it was hard. It was hard to come to work every day, and these guys did that over and over and over again. So when Shai and when Lane talk about that, they're still talking about 2017. They're talking about fighting and scratching and clawing to get 10 wins last year, and then to continue to fight this year. They're built for it because of what they've done. It's not just, the off season, we work our butts off. We do. And we hold them accountable. We hold them to a high standard. And they just keep coming back for more. And it's because of what they've gone through in the past is why they can go out there and do that and win ball games like that at the end.
Coach, kind of building off of that, the last couple of years it's been a pretty young team. Looking at the depth chart this year, a little bit more experience. Going back to 2 weeks ago, being down a touchdown with 4 minutes left, coming back to tie the game, winning overtime, then in adverse conditions, winning in triple overtime. What does that experience mean for those types of games that you might have some more along the way where you're really just going to have to dig it out at the end?
Well, it shows we can do it. One of our opponents, Minnesota, look at them right now. Look at what they did the first part of the season and how they won football games and now where they're sitting. This proves to our guys that they can win regardless of the situation. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I go every single time before we go out, I talk to our guys about don't look at the scoreboard. Do what we do, blue collar, discipline, tough, do the things we're good at. Don't make mistakes that beat yourself. And there's some in this game that we got to fix. But I ask them to not look at the scoreboard and just believe in what they do, believe in the plan to win. And that's what they do. And then we look up, and we got more points than the other team.
Coach, last year when you guys played Coastal, you're coming off of back-to-back losses, and when you guys won, a lot of you guys called it a swag game. It was like a momentum game. You guys ended up winning 3 in a row, including that game last year. This game tonight, was it kind of the same thing? Obviously coming off of a win, but do you feel like this is a game that can kind of leapfrog you guys forward into the conference?
Anytime you get a W in the conference, it puts you one step closer to what you want to accomplish. When it's all said and done, I don't know what the season will end like. I don't know what it'll look like, but I know we got the W tonight, and I know that put us in position to still accomplish the goals that we want. So we have to have the mindset at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow to go reset. We're 0-0. How are we going to go 1-0? And that's what we got to do.
Coach, can you just speak about the resolve of this team? Like I said, back-to-back overtime games. Help to have a week off, but to dig deep and find what you got to find to pull those wins out.
Well, the thing that defines us is, our identity. Blue collar. They go to work every day. Okay. Discipline. Okay. And tough. And that last one is why we've won these last 2 overtime games, is because they're tough. And it's not just because they're physically tough, they're mentally tough. And they believe they can get it done. And I guarantee you we'll come in here tomorrow and they'll be ready to go back to work and they'll put it behind them and we'll be on to New Mexico State.
Coach, Wesley Kennedy had a night. On top of the game-winning touchdown, it seemed like every time he got the ball, you could tell he had a spark and really lit the offense. When he was being recruited, and even in years past, is this sort of the role you saw him filling, and he's finally stepping into that in terms of just getting him a bunch of touches and just letting him make plays?
Well, I know when I sat in his living room with his mom, his dad, both sets of grandparents, and, we sat there, we said, you are a guy that we want to get the ball to. And because of what we are on offense, we needed to move him into positions where he could get the ball. And that's what we're going to do, because you see when he touches the ball, he's electric with it. And so we're always trying to find a way to get number 12 the ball.
Coach, when that game goes to overtime, it kind of compartmentalizes the first overtime. You get the ball knowing that you have to score to keep the game going. Then you get it first in the second overtime, knowing that you have to score a touchdown to put yourself in the best spot. Do you think that there's a different mentality or a different mindset when you get that ball in the third overtime, knowing that, there's the finish line, all you have to do is get 25 more yards and it's over?
I don't want there to be a different mindset. I want the same mindset throughout the football game. And I think that is what we are. The results don't always show it in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but the results at the end do show it. But we got to have that mindset each and every time the offense gets the ball. They got to think we're going to go get a touchdown. When the defense is out on the field, we're going to stop the other team's offense. That's the mindset that's got to be every single drive. You get into those situations of right there at the end and get into the overtimes. Sure, you got to turn it up another notch. Our kids did it. And hats off to the defense. I mean, they had to play back-to-back, on defense. And that's tough. You sit there and you do that. And then to be able to, hold them to that field goal, and then our offense to go out there to get that touchdown and win the football game. That says a lot about our kids.
Coach, in between the third and fourth quarter, we saw some kind of extracurricular stuff on both sides. I guess for you guys, was that something that was premeditated, that you guys were okay with a flag there to kind of get an energy boost, or was it just?
I'm not okay with flags that eliminate or throw our players out of a football game. Okay, I'm not okay with that. And I'm not okay with Eagles beating Eagles. I will take the blame for the flag because I've challenged them every day in practice. When we get to a certain point of practice, we bring them up to the 50. We talk about high fours. We talk about finish. And we emphasize it over and over every day. Okay? We've got to be better about staying with our football team, getting our energy from one another, not from the other team. I talk to them all the time about energy over emotion. We let emotions take over right there. And it needs to just be our energy. We need to bring our own energy. So we'll address that. We'll make sure that we don't put ourselves in those situations again. I don't ever want a football team that I'm in charge of to not seem like a disciplined football team.
Coach, I know you touched on this with the guys, but can you just mention how proud you are of Mark Mashhad and coming up with big catches after the 60 minutes were done?
Yeah. I mean, I can't say enough about Mark Mashhad. I mean, this is a kid that, he came out of high school. He had an injury, so he had to go to prep school. He was highly recruited coming out of high school, and then he had to go to prep school because he had an injury. He went to prep school, and then he was kind of got forgotten about. And we had some ties that ended up getting him to Georgia Southern. He came in as a tight end. He wasn't really sure if that's what he wanted to do, but he has stuck it out. Now he's a senior. He's really worked his tail off to put himself in position to be successful. And I'm very proud of what that kid did, because it's not just that he made the plays tonight. He's worked his butt off so that he could make the plays tonight, and he's bought into this football team and this program.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Coach.
No problem. GATA.